Hello everyone, welcome to the first race of the season in the German Touring Car Masters 2001, the second year for this very popular series in Germany. I'm Milt Fitzwater, and today we're coming to you from Hockenheim. The Grand Prix circuit will not be used today. They're going to use the famous short course, which presents certainly all kinds of problems of its own. The drivers are out waving to the fans. This is a series where the fans certainly get a chance to meet their drivers up close. And the track? Well, Hockenheim was built back in 1932. It has a great tradition. It started Formula One racing back in 1977. And since then, it has been one of the most popular circuits in Europe and one of the toughest.
Hockenheim is sicherlich eine Traditionsstrecke.
Hockenheim is certainly a traditional track. It's been here a long time. It's very special. It's a stadium-like atmosphere, particularly when you drive in. You drive into the stadium, and it's amazing. Everyone loves this track, but particularly the short course. I believe you need experience to drive here if you want to do well. It's tough on tires, especially the left front tires. And if you have the wrong setup, it can be a long day. The Hockenheim Motodrom certainly offers something for just about everybody. There even is a museum here which traces the history of this track. It all started with motorcycles, and some of them are here. There's also a different type of action here. There's go-kart racing, and many of these German touring car stars have raced on this go-kart circuit. But the real challenge, of course, is not the go-kart circuit. It's the short course at Hockenheim, the one that everybody worries about. You can compare the short course here at Hockenheim with the soccer stadium. You come into the back of the stadium, and then the fans stand. Now, when it's sold out, there are some 60,000 fans there. There is certainly a special atmosphere when all these fans are there, and you do feel it in the car. They wave flags, they set off fireworks. And the course, particularly the short course, is very tough. It puts tremendous demands on the drivers. It's also tough on equipment. It's important that you find the right balance. There's a mixture of slow and fast corners. And so the fans get their chance to look around and do some shopping before it gets serious with racing. And the fans come in droves. This is a mecca for touring car racing. Some 30,000 fans are on hand today. 22 drivers are ready to start the races here in the brand new season of the German Touring Car Masters. And there's the short course, 1.6 miles long. They'll run 13 laps in the qualifying race, and the main race will be 38 laps. There are 9 rookie drivers, so to speak, although some of them have been around for some time, but they're making their first appearance in the German Touring Car Masters. The champ is back, though. That's Bernd Schneider, and he's on the pole. Mercedes dominated qualifying. The top 5 cars are Mercedes. Then comes Manuel Reuter in the Opel, and then the Audi surprised everyone. Laurent Aiello is starting 7th. You can't miss him. That's in that yellow Audi. But the real question is, who's going to get the start here? On the left is Bernd Schneider. His teammate, Peter Dumbreck, after qualifying, is right next to him. And we're underway with the first race of the season. Schneider gets the jump going into the right-hander. The rest of the field sorts itself out. Dumbreck drops right in behind him. Then Thomas Jaeger, one of the young drivers, is running third. Behind him is Pedro Lamy. The field sorting itself out. They have to be a little careful here because there's only points for the top 3 and they're minimal points. This, though, sets the field for the main race. So you have to finish it. How hard do you push? How hard do you want to drive? That's the question. And right now it's the first race of the season. Some of these cars are really getting a roll out here at Hockenheim. So no one really wants to push that hard. They want to make the big show. But look at this. Bernd Schneider out in front. Dumbreck is running second. And Patrick Hoesman, one of the new drivers in the series from the Netherlands, goes off the course but is back on. He has some experience in touring cars, but here at Hockenheim, it's a whole different world when it comes to the German touring car masters and these cars from Mercedes, Opel, and Audi. So there's your first lap. It's a very good mixture of the older and younger drivers. Schneider, the veteran, Dumbreck, Jaeger, all newer. Lamy is only in his second season in the series, so you can see it's a very nice mixture of the young and old stars here at Hockenheim in this brand new series. Timo Scheider on the left in that red hooded car, ducks inside and goes by Hubert Haupt. Haupt, also a new driver in the series. Timo Scheider, one of the very young drivers last year who put on a good performance and is this year, once again for Opel, one of the contenders. You're riding in the Audi of Christian Abt. He's back in the pack just a little bit as you get a good look at the short course here at Hockenheim. They'll come off this corner right up as close against the wall as you can imagine. Then it's right into the stadium area. And here is where the fans are, particularly in this corner as they head in. Now you get a good look at the wall here, how close some of the drivers come to it. It's one of the two real cement walls the drivers have to face every single season. The other is down at the Norris Ring. Once again, with Christian Abt, you're on the busy part of the course now, headed toward the front straight and the start-finish line. The pits will be on your right, the stadium on your left, and Joachim Winkelhock's car is in the pits. One of the most popular drivers in the series is having problems. They're switching tires, but it's a little early. There is a mandatory pit stop, but not in the qualifying race. It comes in the main race. Something is not quite right with Winkelhock's car. He comes back out, but he is way behind. He started way back in the pack after having a miserable qualifying session. The weather changed on him. He took his laps too early, and by the time he got out, there was no chance to better it, and he started way back in the pack. You're looking at Alain Menu. He is the driver in the white Opel, and now you're with Manuel Reuter, second in last year's championship. And Reuter is right there with the yellow doors. That's the car you were riding with just a few moments ago. Fessler going by. That is that black Mercedes with the green rear view mirrors. Marcel starting further back in the pack than I'm sure he would like to. Wow, that was tight against the wall. And Winkelhock in that orange Opel, more problems. Headed back to the pits. What a shame. One of the most popular drivers in touring car racing, moved from BMW a couple of years ago over to Opel. And he's had his problems here in the first race of the season at Hockenheim. The change in the series this year, they ran two 100-kilometer or 60-mile races for a race weekend. Now they're going to run the qualifying that you're seeing here, which is about 35 kilometers. And then that sets up the field for the main race. And what's really surprising is, one, is how fast this man is, Bernd Schneider. He's simply leaving everybody behind. He's already got the nickname the Dominator. He is literally controlling touring car racing, and particularly since one of the true veterans and the winningest touring car driver, Klaus Ludwig, decided to retire at the end of last season. So now Bernd Schneider can take over that crown as Germany's top touring car and driver and one of the top ones in Europe. But he's going to have a lot of young drivers that are going to be pushing him. His teammate, one of them, Peter Dumbreck. Dumbreck running second. But right here, Schneider takes the checkered flag and wins the qualifying race. There comes Dumbreck, your winner, Bernd Schneider. And the season is underway in the German Touring Car Masters. Jaeger comes in very well third. There's Uwe Olsen on the inside, and Lamy was on the outside. But it's a Mercedes day. Mercedes dominating once again here in the qualifying race. Manuel Reuter will be one of your top Opels, but he's back in the pack. The top non-Mercedes is Laurent Aiello in the Audi. He came in 8th. Menu came in 11th, and Reuter came in 12th. So it's a disappointing start for the Opel crew, and a little bit of action here toward the end as the cars spin just a little bit, but nobody has any serious damage, and everyone should be able to continue. Taking a look at another one, this is the move against Hubert Haupt by one of the Audis. You can see how Haupt gets way wide and slides. There it is, the finish for the first qualifying race of the 2001 season. Bernd Schneider, your winner. Mercedes dominates right from the start. Mercedes finishing in the top 7. Further down the pack, Christian Abt in the second Audi did very well, coming in 10th place. Manuel Reuter in 12th, Menu in 11th, so Opel has a lot of work ahead of them yet. Some of the young drivers, Tomczyk included, he's only 19 years old, finishing down in the pack. And now they have to get the cars ready for the start of the second race. The Hockenheim Ring, April 5th, 2001. German Touring Car Masters comes out of its winter sleep. 22 drivers have come to the press conference. Opel with 8, Mercedes with 10, and the Audis with 4. The excitement builds. New rules modifications will make it more attractive for the fans.
The format has changed. There's now qualifying.
Each driver has 12 laps to put in his best time, and it's going to be carried live on German TV. Then on race day, there'll be a short 35-kilometer qualification race, which determines the starting positions for the race. Then there'll be mandatory pit stops during the main race. It's a complete program both for the fans at the track and those watching on television. There's also been quite a bit done for German television, including bringing in a former German touring car champion, Klaus Ludwig, to do the color commentary. So what's hoped is that the television coverage, coupled with the live action on the track, is going to make this a very exciting year for the German Touring Car Masters. The teams have certainly had time to practice the pit stops for the main race, but for Opel, well, it's not necessarily the pit stops. That's just part of what they hope is a very successful program this year. We were runner-up in last year's championship. We won 8 races, and we led the most races. The advantage with being second is that there's always room for improvement. We can always move up a place, and that's our goal. We wouldn't be in the sport if it wasn't. We have worked hard with that goal in mind. And for the drivers, they have one goal. That's to beat the champ, Bernd Schneider. But it will be tough. I wanted to defend my title. No champion has been able to do that. I think it'll be very difficult, but Mercedes has certainly given me a car to do it with. And this man, Manuel Reuter, would like to become champion. In fact, he's going to find out what it must be like to drive a Mercedes here. This at the press, not on race day. These are the 2 cars that will be some of the top contenders for the race victories this season in the German Touring Car Masters. And another attraction this season is a 2-seater Formula One car. This gives a number of people a chance to ride in a Mercedes 2-seater Formula One vehicle to see what it's like in this kind of a car. And with Formula One's popularity in Europe, that certainly will be a high point for a number of fans this season, and certainly a number of drivers who may not have had that experience yet. So the break is almost over with between the qualifying race here at Hockenheim and the main race. This year, this is the one that gives all the points. 20 points goes to the victor, and the man on the pole, of course, Bernd Schneider. He's the one that everybody knows they have to beat if they want to have a chance for the title. He is the top driver in touring cars. And there's your front row. Bernd Schneider and his teammate Peter Dumbreck. The two AMG Mercedes cars, brand new versions of the Mercedes for this year. Next to them is Thomas Jaeger and Pedro Lamy. They are in cars of last year's make, but with the new motors, both in Mercedes. Uwe Alsen, new to Mercedes, coming from Opel, and next to him, Darren Turner, in another of the Rosberg Mercedes. Behind them comes the first Audi. First there's Marcel Fessler, and then Laurent Ayala, the Frenchman, who would love to get back into the competition after having a very difficult year last year. Bernd Mailander, a driver who many have seen in Formula One, is driving the pace car. Now in touring cars, Christian Abt in another of the Audis. After that, a newcomer, Alain Menu. Can't miss that car with the bright rainbow colors. And then Manuel Reuter. Reuter, one of those after the championship. Christian Albers, another of the new young drivers on the inside. On the outside, Michel Bartels, a veteran in an Opel. Those are the top cars in the field. 20 cars will be starting the feature race. 2 will not. Winkelhock was not able to get his car into the field. And Ekstrom, Matthias Ekstrom, also is not going to make the feature race. He is one of the youngest drivers in the field, and he didn't quite get the car through the qualifying race. So 20 cars ready to go. Once again, it comes down to, can Bernd Schneider get the jump? Schneider's on the left. Peter Dumbreck from England is on the right. Good crowd on hand, waiting for the green here at Hockenheim on the short course, the 1.5-mile circuit, and we're underway. And once again, Bernd Schneider on the inside gets a tremendous jump. Dumbreck will duck in between. And Marcel Fessler comes up with a great start, but a car goes off the course. But a great start by the leaders here. That was Huisman, who went off the course and came back on. Evidently lost part of the car. But look at Schneider. Bernd Schneider out in front and just continues to roll. The man is truly amazing. That is Uwe Alsen now running in third place. Christian Abt gives you a look at the course coming into the stadium here. Schneider is your leader, then Dumbreck. Then comes Alsen, then comes Jaeger. Then comes Lamy. Those dark-colored Mercedes, a little hard to differentiate, and they both have those red rear-view mirrors, so you have a trouble trying to pick out which one is which. A battle in the pack, which we can expect all day long, but it's great that Christian Abt is able to be right up there and battle for position here. Last year, the Audis were not the cars that everybody thought they would be, and this year, they are, and that was a battle right there with Bernd Mailander. And there's your first lap. A good mix of old and new. Schneider, Dumbreck, Alsen, Jaeger. 2 veterans and 2 basic newcomers. But Schneider is showing the way. He's already pulled out to a lead. It's amazing. Alsen. And Michel Bartels has come into the pits. Michel Bartels in the Opel has come into the pits. A second Opel goes out. Take another look at Huisman. There's a piece of a car, one of the Audis, laying on the track. Huisman went wide. Whether it was to miss that or he lost control, not sure. But one of the Audis also hit that part. But Huisman did come back in, but the question is going to be, how much damage did the gravel do? And look at this. Bernd Schneider just continues to roll. Dumbreck is second. Uwe Alsen is third. Now, Alsen has a lot to prove. He's brand new to Mercedes this year. He wants to come back after having what would be called a miserable year with Opel. So everyone is expecting him to be tough. He's also a driver who does not compromise when it comes to getting by somebody. He is not afraid to come up and say, hello, I want to go by, and give you a short nudge. And everyone's waiting to see if he can do it. Right now, we're looking back in the pack at some of the young drivers in the field. There you can see the Audis coming through. Timo Scheider, Tomczak. Martin Tomczak is brand new to the series. He's driving for Audi. He's 19 years old, youngest driver in the field. But that's the one the fans like. Very popular driver because he always battles for position, and that's Uwe Alsen. He started off last season for Opel and just had a miserable time, never did forget it. And now the menu car is out. Opel is having a terrible day here. Quite frankly, it's exactly how they started last year. Mercedes dominated the first race of the season at the short track. Opel just wasn't quite ready, and they had problems all day long. Fessler moving up in the pack as he got by Turner. He now is chasing after the rest of the pack here. There's your top six: Schneider, Dumbreck, Alsen, Jaeger, Lamy, and Turner. But Turner has just lost a position to Fessler. This was just before he made the pass. Aiello, look at that. The Audi is running in 8th and 9th position with Christian Abt. Mailander is 10th. Then comes Tomczyk, the 19-year-old, in 11th position. Timo Scheider, another of the young drivers, right behind him. But Laurent Aiello, the Frenchman, right here in this yellow Audi, certainly putting on a great show. It looks like Bartels will be coming back out on the course. Whether the car is going to be competitive, he's lost a number of laps, so whether he'll be able to make something out of this or not, that is a true question here. But the other question is, how good are these Audis? Here's the battle once again up front. There is Fessler. He continues to move up. The man is simply charging here. He is moving by. He just went by Pedro Lamy and continues to roll here. So he now is up into 5th position. Fessler, who is one of those highly touted young drivers, had a pretty good year last year. He's got a top ride this year, one of the top Mercedes cars. So Mercedes must see a lot of talent there, and now he has to prove it. And here comes Aiello again in that yellow Audi. He continues to move. And there you see what happened to Patrick Huisman's skirt as he came through the gravel. It went off and the car had problems. And there's Bartels. Something is broken off his car. So the Opel crew just can't buy any kind of luck today. Michel Bartels will probably have to park it here. And Opel with only a couple of cars left out in the field. Manuel Reuter being one of them, but he's way back in the pack. This is not a great day for them. Not a great day at all. Marcel Fessler continues to roll forward. Here comes Patrick Huisman into the pits. They got to do some repair work on the front of his car. He comes from Holland. It's his first appearance in the German Touring Car Masters, but he's been around touring cars for some time. And look at this. The Audis continue to pull. Abt now has gotten by and is moving up behind his teammate, Laurent Aiello. Aiello struggled last year with a car that was not competitive, and he was coming off a year before that when he was champion in super touring cars. And through sheer talent alone, he brought that car forward. This year, the car is much better, and he's running up in the top 10. Last year, they were happy to finish in the top 20, basically to finish. And now they're running extremely well. And this is a very nice battle here between two of the young and up-and-coming touring car drivers. Thomas Jaeger in a Mercedes ahead of Marcel Fessler. Two of the fine young drivers in the series. Fessler is 24 years old. He's had a great career so far, and everyone knows he can drive, and now he gets a chance to prove it. Jaeger is also 24 years old. Second year of touring cars. So you see the new generation, but that is the dominator. Bernd Schneider in front. Dumbreck from England is running second. Alsen is running third. And here comes that battle between Jaeger and Marcel Fessler. Interesting point here is that actually Jaeger has an older version of the car, but obviously has the new motor. Marcel Fessler has the new version of the car all the way around, and yet Jaeger's putting up a great defense here. This track is not easy to pass on. There are a couple of places. This left-hander is taken wide open if you want to stay out in front. Then you're coming up to a swinging right-hander, which brings you out to the wall, and then you head into the stadium. Now, if there's going to be a pass, this is one place where it might come, but it doesn't look like Fessler is going to be close enough to get inside. There's the hood on the Yves Olivier car coming loose. That'll make for an interesting afternoon. Laurent Aiello comes by. This is Christian Abt, and he's being challenged. But the Audis continue to run extremely well. It's really amazing how well they're doing. Mailander is the man trying to get by Christian Abt. Mailander is also making his first appearance in the Touring Car Series. He has driven a number of different types of cars, but the first time he's in the touring cars. Here he tries to go inside, not going to make it. Abt shut the door. Let's see if he can try again. You'll have to wait a second here till they get out into the stadium area. Now you're with Christian Abt as he heads into the stadium area, being chased by Mailander. You get a good view of him at work here as he heads toward the right-hander that'll take him to the start-finish line. If Mailander can get up and stay with him enough to get a little strip scene coming off the long straightaway here, he might be able to get by. There's Tomczyk with a spin, the young driver getting his start in touring cars. Has a thing or two to learn, as most all of them do. And there is Laurent Aiello. He is charging. It's amazing the show that he is putting on. And the Audi fans are certainly more than happy. The car ahead of him is Darren Turner. Laurent Aiello. Everyone knows the man has tremendous talent. And when the car is going to be enough underneath him that he can run with people, he is just as good as anybody up front. And right now, with Bernd Schneider sitting on the throne, basically, the question is going to be who's going to take it from him. And now we start the mandatory pit stops. In this race, all cars have to stop once, and they have to change all 4 tires. This was added this year to make it a little bit more interesting for the fans and give a little bit more excitement. It also means tactics for the teams, because sometimes you may not be able to get by somebody, so you come in the pits, change tires, you get away from him, and get a chance to make a run at him after that person goes into the pits. Of course, that's just one scenario. There are many, many more. Aiello in, relatively long time here. Pit stop should be around 10, 11 seconds. This one's a little long. Now he's out. Relatively long pit stop at 19 seconds. There's Manuel Reuter. Opel's hopes ride with him now, with everybody else is just about falling out. Reuter makes his home in Monte Carlo. Has become a regular Opel driver for the past several years and is always a challenger. But the car has had its problems here in the opening race of the season. During qualifying, they couldn't quite find the setup in order to get the best use of the Dunlop tires. Everybody has to run the same tires, and Opel has not found the way yet to really get the most out of the tires. Mercedes obviously has. And the Opels also have their problems in the wet. And the qualifying was done in the wet, or partially, and then the regular times came right about in the last 10 minutes of qualifying when the rain let up and the track dried out a little bit. But most of the drivers had already used up the 12 laps of qualifying they were allowed. Bernd Schneider, incidentally, had real luck on that one. Here's you take a look at Reuter. Schneider had an accident in the first lap of qualifying, went in, got the car fixed, and by the time he was ready to come back out, the rain had let up, and he put in his fast laps and took the pole. Otherwise, he even admitted he probably would have used up his fast laps early and not been able to get the pole position. That was the luck of the draw. Get a chance to ride with Manuel Reuter as Thomas Jaeger brings his Mercedes in for his pit stop. Brings it in about 30 miles an hour is the speed limit on pit lane. All 4. Time looks good on this one. This one's not as long as what it was for the Audi. 11.6. That's pretty good. And that probably is what would be considered to be the standard as far as what's going to happen. You get in quicker and out quicker. That's that much better. Here come 2 teammates. As the Audi continues to roll, that is Yves Olivier, the teammate from Manuel Reuter in the yellow and white Opel. You can tell the difference in the trim, but that's just about it. Ahead of him is Christian Albers, one of the new young drivers in the field. But that's the boss right there, Bernd Schneider. This man has been superior this last several years. He also was great when he drove in the prototypes for Mercedes. Mercedes came back into touring cars. That's his specialty. And when the cars makes it through, he's almost unstoppable. Last year, he only made one bad mistake. That was at Oschersleben when he went off. Other than that, he dominated. Car ran well. Jumped off to a lead in the points like he is starting to do here, it looks like. He's just got to bring the car home and pick up 20 points. Through all the pit stops, though, that's the change, and that's where the luck comes. Are you going to pit at the right time? Is your competitor going to be able to pit at the right time? Are you going to take advantage of his stop, or are you going to be caught? Uwe Alsen now coming into the pits. Alsen, the hard charger, has certainly come on a little less than what people expected. In the press conferences and before the season, he was almost like the number 2 driver behind Bernd Schneider. But here, a lot of the young drivers have said, hey, I can get by him and I'm going to. And they want to go after Bernd Schneider, but right now no one's been able to catch Schneider. This is the first season for Alsen in a Mercedes, and you're riding with Bernd Schneider here at Hockenheim on the short course in the first race of the season in the German Touring Car Masters. Down the front straight you go. Then you see the rest of the pack behind him. He has opened up a tremendous lead here, and he continues to roll. That's Bernd Mailander behind him. Schneider's teammate, Dumbreck, comes into the pits. Dumbreck has actually had a good race here. He's been running up front, but now the pit stops are going to decide who ends up where, that's for sure. Most teams do the way this is set up. 3 people to a tire, 1 with the sign. Whoa, 10.1. Dumbreck with a great stop. Meanwhile, Schneider continues to roll. In the infield as more cars continue to pit. Here comes Manuel Reuter in. He'll change all 4. So Schneider continues to lead. Reuter out in 9.4. That's some of the best time yet. Manuel Reuter, who was far back in the pack, gets all 4 in 9.4 seconds. Your leader continues to be Bernd Schneider, followed by Mailander at this point. Behind him is Laurent Aiello. But the standings are being shuffled regularly here because of the pit stops. It'll sort itself out after everybody has done their share of changing tires. Bernd Schneider is a true technician. He's a tactician that knows exactly what he wants to do. He has an excellent team behind him. They've been together for a number of years. He has driven for Mercedes a number of years. He has the same engineer. And he just is the coolest driver you ever can imagine. Never seems to get upset. And now it's his turn to change all 4. Makes it to the line, gets down to the speed limit, and now you ride with him very slowly down pit lane as he heads for his 4-tire change. This will now be crucial. He has to go all the way to the end as the Mercedes pits are way at the end of the pits right before the chance to go back on the track. Reuter was 9.4 is the best time. Schneider is going to be pretty good here. He's out 11.4. So Bernd Schneider has made his pit stop. Now the thing is that Marcel Fessler has taken over the lead. Another Mercedes is out in front. So Bernd Schneider now will start to roll and see where things go as he has done his pits. The question now is how can Fessler do his pit stop and either maintain the lead or maybe even stay up in the top group. The two Audis come in together. That's a little unusual. Everybody's been coming in separately, but the two Audis have come in right together. You're riding with Christian Abt in his Audi as he sails back out onto the course. Rules were changed a little bit this year so the Audis would be more competitive than they were last year. They allowed them aerodynamically to be a little longer, which helped them be a little bit more competitive with the Mercedes, for instance, which is the longest car of all three cars. Bernd Schneider putting in the laps now, waiting to see what happens when Fessler decides to go in and pit. Olivier comes out right in front of Schneider. Yves Olivier, in his first season of the German Touring Car Masters, is being blinked by Bernd Schneider and says, hey, let me by, I've already lapped you once. And he's got the signal on to pass, but there's no room to do it yet. So Schneider's being held up here by Yves Olivier. Is he going to get inside? No. Whoa, this is slowing him down. Now Olivier makes space. Schneider is getting underway. There probably needs to be another flag, the international flag for passing put out so that used more often here if we're going to do these pit stop ideas, because cars who have already been lapped should not be blocking the faster cars. There goes the Hubert Haupt car. Here comes Schneider on the inside going through the anthill corner, as it's called, because right up against that bank there are a whole bunch of anthills. Through the S-curve down to the short section here to straight. Here they want to keep the foot right to the floor through this left-hander. Then they start coming down to get ready for the right-hander. Depending on which drivers you talk to, most of them say they use usually third, fourth, and fifth most of the time, and sometimes in sixth gear when they come down the long straightaway, but the third, fourth, and fifth are the keys. Even on the long sweeping corners, like this one coming up here that Schneider is going through, is usually a third gear corner for most of them. As soon as they're coming out, then they're moving up and heading toward the end of the long straightaway here to get down up into sixth gear. And there is Marcel Fessler. That is your leader. And the Tomczak car is off the course. Martin Tomczak, the young 19-year-old German driver in his first race, has gone off the course into the wall through the tires. And right now the tires have kind of blocked him inside of the car. And it's in a very dangerous place. You see this point here? That's one place where the cars are coming quickly to head into that corner, and they've got to get him out of there. It's a very dangerous corner. Another car could go right straight off into the same place he did if something goes wrong. But there's your leader, Marcel Fessler. And boy, he happens to be a happy man. Last year he challenged, tried and tried, didn't get a victory. The 24-year-old Swiss driver really wants one here. There was Tomczak getting out of the car. He's okay. Now they got to get the car out of the way. And they're bringing out the pace car. They're bringing out the pace car, the safety car, and they're doing it because of the position of that car, the Tomczak car. It's in a dangerous position, so they're going to bring out the pace car. And the safety car is the one that they're going to have to get behind. That's the car that's going over to the wreck. There's the safety car. And the safety car will pick up the leader. Right now he's in front of Jaeger, but Jaeger I don't think is the leader. They're going to have to pick up the other ones. Dumbreck here is the car that is out in front. The question now is what's going to happen to Fessler? Is he going to be able to get in the pits? If he does, then he might be able to hold maybe on to one of the top positions. And there he is. Fessler comes into the pits to make his four-tire change. There's your leader. Everyone else is under the safety car. He's picked the right moment. The question is going to be, is he able to pick up the space? The crew is ready. The last of the drivers to make the change. Watch the time. Wow, 9.5. What a great pit stop. Meanwhile, they still have not got the Tomczyk car out of the tires. Finally getting him loose. Tomczyk was okay. Take a look at it. Yeah, he went right straight off into the tires and then into the wall. They finally got some of it out, but they're still holding up the race. So there's your leader now, and that is Bernd Schneider. Fessler is out, and through some nice work with the pits, is running in second place at the moment. But there's a car between he and Schneider. So the question will be, when can they make the move? And look at this. Uwe Alsen is also in this group. Alsen, the hard charger. So now the field has moved up on the leader, Bernd Schneider. However, that second place car, Yves Olivier, is a lap down. So he does not count in the figuring here, but he does become a problem because he is between Schneider and Marcel Fessler. Now, Schneider is used to these kind of starts. He's run in the United States. He's used to these kind of, look at the jump he gets. Wow, he slowed it down, gets a great jump, and off he goes. That's why he's one of the best touring car drivers in Europe. But now the question is going to be, can Marcel Fessler get by the lap car, Olivier? Wow, look at that. Got really tight coming around. Right now, he's not able to make that move. Olivier is not giving any room. Schneider, meanwhile, look at the time he puts up. It's amazing. That first lap on the flying lap is usually one of the best. And Schneider is taking advantage of it. Marcel Fessler is being held up. And Fessler just can't get by. He wants to, he just can't do it. Dumbreck is behind him. Now he goes inside. Can't get by. Yves Olivier. First year in the touring car, certainly he's made a name for himself with these drivers. There isn't much that the Opel drivers can do. Most of them are out. Manuel Reuter is further back, so this is a case here of just a little bit of pride, it seems. Fessler gets by. Here comes Dumbreck, and here comes Alsen. Alsen tries to get inside, and they bump, and he didn't make it. So Alsen now is being held up by Olivier. At a time when everyone had a chance to catch up with Bernd Schneider, it's a lap car that gives Schneider an advantage. And here are two teammates from the Rosberg team bumping each other. Wrong time, wrong place. Here comes Alsen. He goes inside. This time he gets by. And now Alsen puts up the chase, but there's only a few laps to go. Alsen's probably too far back. Schneider, look at this, way out in front. Fessler is second. There is Dumbreck, and then comes Alsen. Jaeger behind him. Mailander is the car that went a little bit wide and squirrely there. But look at Laurent Aiello. He's still in the top 10 in that yellow Audi with the red mirrors. And Christian Abt, the boss, is 2 cars back. But even Christian Abt takes his hat off to Aiello, how good he is. There's Mailander's problem. He got a little off into the dirt, gravel. But the question now is can these other cars catch up or can't they? You're looking at back in the pack now. You're still looking at Laurent Aiello in the Audi. The leader of that particular group right there is Christian Albers, but really the question here is are they going to be able to make up some time and get some space? The real question too is, can the Audi move up a spot? It's a Mercedes show so far. There are your top 2. Dumbreck is 3rd, Alsen is 4th, Mercedes. Jaeger is 5th, Mercedes. Albers, Lamy, Turner, Aiello, Mailänder. So Abt is just out of the points. If he can move up one, he gets into the points. But he's got a hard job here. There are 5 cars ahead of him, all battling for position, and you're looking at the traffic jam ahead of him. Whoa, a lot of bumping going on here. Aiello is literally holding off 2 cars at once. Here they go into that left-hander wide open. Well, the car ahead of him isn't, certainly. That looks like Dumbrek. No, that's not Dumbrek. Excuse me. That is Albers, the young new driver. Meanwhile, the rest of the back of the pack trying to come up and see what they can do to finish on the day that belongs to Mercedes. There is Reuter, one of the lone Opels remaining in the field here at Hockenheim. A very disappointing day for the Opel crew. They had so much that they hoped would come right for them this year. And right now, things are not doing too well. Next stop on the tour will be the Nürburgring on the Grand Prix course there. Comes up in a couple of weeks. In between now and then, you know the Opel crew is going to be busy. After a race day like this one, no matter what the reason, they know they got to improve. This became a Mercedes day and a surprising Audi day as Audi proved how strong they can be. And that's the man that's proving it, Laurent Aiello. Ahead of him is Darren Turner. And behind him is Mailänder, Bernd Mailänder. The Audi fans certainly have to be happy. After last year and the miserable year they had, and they came up with a pretty good finish in the last couple of race weekends. But to be this strong all day in the first race of the season, of a new season, wow, great performance. Way back there, the yellow and white Opel. Manuel Reuter, way back in the pack. There is one Opel ahead of him. That's it. Timo Scheider is ahead of him, but that's about it. Amazing. Volker Stritzek, very emotional man. He doesn't hide things well. When things go wrong for Opel, you know it. Of course, the Mercedes crew with Norbert Hauck and company, they have to be smiling all the way to the bank here. Youngsters and the old drivers just putting on a tremendous show for the fans here at Hockenheim. 10 races this season. In fact, the series will be going into 2 countries. It'll be into Austria. It'll be at the A1 ring. They'll be going up to the Netherlands, in Zandvoort, up in the sand dunes. And the Dutch drivers, of course, in front of their home fans. So it promises to be a great season. Another piece of a car has come off. That looks like from Darren Turner's car. But it looks like Laurent Aiello is not going to be able to have enough to get by Darren Turner and move up another slot. If he does, it's going to be a real smart move here. He's close, but it's just not there. There you see what happens. The back part of the Turner car comes off, and Aiello just picked it off in the air. Here he goes inside. See if he can get, oh, they bump. And Aiello is going to get by, or is he not? No. Oh, that was so close. Laurent Aiello can taste it. He wants to get by. He wants to move up. Give the Opel fans their day. Didn't quite work. And the laps are running down. In fact, we're in the last lap. And there is your leader, Bernd Schneider. Right behind him, another Mercedes, Marcel Fessler, who has moved up after a disappointing start of 13th in the race. Here's another look at that. Going inside, Aiello went, tapped the back of Turner. Turner held on to it. In fact, Turner kept his foot on it and still has the position, at least at this point. There's your leader, Bernd Schneider. Marcel Fessler has backed off just a little bit. So Fessler will be happy with the 15 points for second place today. The Mercedes fans certainly have to be happy because the Dominator Bernd Schneider takes the checkered flag here at Hockenheim in the first race of the season in the German Touring Car Masters. A happy crew. And certainly, even though he may not show emotion as much, a happy driver. The rest of the field coming in, and look at this. Aiello did get by. Aiello did get by and will finish 7th for Audi. That means Christian Abt in another Audi will be 10th. Wow. What a great finish for Audi after such a difficult year last year. It's a great drive by Bernd Schneider, but everybody gets used to that after a while. They know they have to beat that man if they want to get into the points. And the Mercedes crew, Norbert Hauck with his back to you right there. A happy bunch, as are the Mercedes fans with all their flags. And there it is, the Mercedes day. Only broken by Laurent Aiello in 7th position. An amazing day for them. Christian Abt was 10th. Timo Scheider, the best Opel, 11th. Manuel Reuter was 12th. So that's how it shapes up after the first race weekend of the season in the German Touring Car Masters here at Hockenheim. And now it's time to celebrate. The chief engineer Unger right up there along with his Mercedes drivers. Everyone having a great time. For Marcel Fessler, a great moment up on the podium. And there's your points after the first race weekend. Schneider right where he was at the end of last season. That does it for our broadcast from Hockenheim. This is Milt Fitzwater. Hope you'll join us when we once again bring you the German Touring Car Masters next time from the Nürburgring.